You know what? I respect it. I respect it very much. That makes total sense to me. I'm going through my my ideas here. What do you think about Antony being 100% for say 1 second? I think even just it only lasting like 1.5 seconds, or maybe like even just 2 seconds to try out would be fine. I think like the simplest answers are probably the easiest ones, and just having it last for not quite as long. On specifically tanks, I think in particular. We did Flashpoint Guide already. You guys want to do like a? We could do. We could take a look at Samoa if you guys want. We'll do a Samoa guide really fast then. I'm trying to be productive in today's stream because the role debate was fun, but there's a couple of things I want to do. Maybe we'll do some Ask Spilo as well. Okay, I need to. I don't know why I'm looking at this when I can literally look at OBS. It's so much easier. Right there. Drag the window wider. Check Discord for your Vaxxus scoreboard. Where in Discord? Guys, I got a friend request from Ashley with her OnlyFans. Should I accept? Oh man, I accidentally clicked ignore. I accidentally clicked ignore, guys. That opportunity is gone. 228,000 damage? Wow, guys. Wow. Wait, who died? Who took the oh, I guess it doesn't show deaths. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I Ashley was probably a really nice young lady, but I just fat fingered the ignore there. My bad. We'll try it again. Samoa guide. Yeah, we can take a look at Samoa. So I have played a decent amount of Samoa, so maybe we'll actually need to take a little bit. I think we need to zoom around just a wee little bit, explore a little bit, because the last time I actually coached Samoa, I actually learned something new. So I feel like before I start yapping, I should probably take the time to study a little bit. I have to wheedle, and I need to turn the light on in the back here. So give me like 1 second. PhD, thanks for the sub, mate. I will be right back, y'all. Give me 1 second. And actually unplug my headphones, I guess. I don't really need them in right now. What did I miss here, chat? Let me skim up a little bit. But yeah, PH, thanks for the sub. If you accept the OnlyFans request, the next email you'll receive is the one you have a heritage waiting for you. Awesome. But see, I've already received some of those and have accepted a few of them. What do you think of the tracer damage nerf versus their fall off range buff from Overwatch 1? I'm not sure. I was actually thinking about that during the podcast. The more I think about it, the more I feel like the spread, something maybe that needs to be buffed before they do anything else. Because I think part of the situations where like Tracer struggles the most is when her like mid-range damage is totally irrelevant. You know, so I think like if you're gonna do anything like slightly tightening her spread would probably be if you were going to buff Tracer at all, it'd be like that. I think, while leaving the damage the same. The spread and Tracer feel so bad. How can you handle the feeling of hair in my forehead? Probably just get used to it, to be honest with you guys. I honestly don't know myself sometimes. That's like being a freak of nature in all the wrong ways. After strenuous negotiation, the DPS council, the members of the Office of Support, Flex Division, I managed to agree upon making Ana invisible. That's good to hear, mates. I'm so glad to hear that. Bro, I got freaking copyright struck on my YouTube, on my Spilo 2 channel, which is like whatever, because it's like, I'm just going to mute the song, for the stupid La Seraphim song. I'm like, my brother, like, I knew that was going to happen too. It's fine. It's like an easy fix. But for the stupid menu song, like, come on, bro. It's getting scammed. Stupid K-pop trying to steal my money. I knew there's K-pop thing. Like, they're not, like, let's be honest, guys. The stupid K-pop models were up to no good. Let's be honest, guys. All right, so I'm gonna troll around a little bit. Jake is your bias? Yeah, well. Let's do a little bit of a little bit of trolling around to see what we can do. I want to stay on the floor. This map has good colors. Yeah, I think my initial impression from Samoa from watching the Al Grand Finals was like, wow, this map is so freaking bright. It like looks sick. I actually really like the feel of the map, you know? I'm not sure how I feel about the map itself. Okay, so let's see here. Freaking water, can you die? Oh, you can die. I figured you could. I wasn't sure if there was gonna be like an invisible wall. Watch what you say, K-pop fans. And bro, K-pop fans already tried to come for my head because I did a very obvious like corny overreaction, like this is the end of the world kind of a joke, and everybody freaked out on me. They're like, oh wow, this guy is being so. And even the best part about it is some of them were the people that I actually like know. Like I've actually worked with before. Oh wow, I can't even believe I got coached. Like, bro, how do you not realize this is people are very silly. Okay, Mega over here, Mega over here. I guess this Mega up here has to be totally useless. Yeah, this is really useless. I guess it's probably okay for some circumstances, but unless you're getting legit spawn camp, like useless here. This is useful for flankers, I guess. Before I start like fully breaking down crap here, we gotta get a little juicy. You know what I'm saying? I like this map honestly. I think this map is pretty good. And he's there, right? Yeah. And then there's the main building here. It just feels like a lot of these health packs aren't particularly useful. Like even that mini there, not super useful. It's okay. I need to. Honestly, this map is so cool. Seriously. There's a mini there. That mini is pretty useful, actually. What's up, Rashi? And the Mega in here. And then this goes down to point. And then, I feel like there should be a health pack here, but I guess there's not. Yeah, this goes underneath. There's the mini there. Yeah. So there's a mini there. Mini there. We're going to have lots of fun talking about this. And then there's this building over here, which doesn't have an entrance on the front. Ah! Hang it, man. Schmitty, thank you for the sub. Stop laughing, y'all. I actually tapped it twice. Time again to try. I chose Moira even though it's freaking satisfying. Just like listen to that. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Wait, is this too loud? No, it's not too. Shouldn't be too loud. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So there's no entrance here. This is so cool. Like, guys, come on. This is sick. Mega here. Useless kind of room here. I mean, it's super cool, but like, it doesn't do anything. If there was like a mini here and this thing wasn't in the way, this room would probably be useful. Because you can't really hold an angle here and like do anything, you know? Not a very useful room. I will say that I've noticed that a lot about some of the newer, maybe it's just more like recency bias, but I've noticed, well, a lot of at least the recent costs, maybe it's the old costs too. There's a lot of useless areas, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of areas and a lot of like geography that's just not particular, like Antarctica in particular, and this one a little bit as well, where there's just a lot of spots where like nobody really like uses that. Like nobody will ever use this flank. Maybe it's okay to have because it's freaking sick looking. Like, come on, guys, like this is sick. But nobody's gonna like, oh, guys, I got the mega up here. You know, like, there's a lot of fluff. Yeah, we're just, you know, it's not really something to complain about because. I mean, okay, I will complain about it a little bit with Antarctica because I think Antarctica, like having so much fluff actually takes away from the map where there's like whole sections of the map that aren't even relevant that should be relevant. You know what I'm saying? That I feel like is bad design. But like this map, it's like, I don't necessarily feel squished in this map. I feel like this section of the map is the only thing I'd complain about here. This feels like it needs to be like, I would say more open, but like more connected. It feels like this area is hard to utilize because this choke is too small. Am I the only one? Like, what if they like broaden this boardwalk a little bit and like maybe made this choke a little bit wider? It just feels a little awkward to utilize this side, you know, because then you get stuck in here a lot, you know. And then the problem with that is that this flank over here isn't that good. You don't have very good sight lines here. I think there's some small tweaks there. No, I agree. The claustrophobia in this map isn't super bad, but I definitely think it could be better. In every Overwatch 1 Koth, it feels like 90% of the map is at least somewhat useful. Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. Yeah, okay. Let's I think we have a decent idea here. I'm just kind of refreshing stuff in my head so that when I start, because this is going to be chopped up anyway, but I want to avoid what I did with the Flashpoint where I really needed to explore the map a little bit more first before I start yapping, like I said. Yeah, Oasis is super tight. Ilios has a little bit of wasted space, but only a tiny bit on Lighthouse. Well is basically no wasted space at all. Neither is Ruins. Neither has any wasted space, almost at all. Lee Jane Control Center. I wouldn't say wasted. Yeah, honestly, niche space, but not wasted. Garden, I would say no wasted space. Definitely no wasted space. There isn't much space. Night Market, no wasted space. Busan, Sanctuary, some wasted space near the spawns, but not totally wasted. Downtown, no wasted space. Again, feels like almost sometimes not enough space. Mecha Base, no wasted space. What other costs are there? You coach Spilo? Yes, true. Masu is the only reason I was able to do anything in this world. What other costs are there? Oasis, we talked about already. No wasted space in Oasis. Oasis space is Oasis space. That's right. Is that it, guys? Besides, no, we did Ilios already. I guess Antarctica, obviously, we talked about, but okay. Nepal. Oh, yeah. Shrine, no wasted space. Well, there is the one path out from spawn that goes right side. That's kind of useless. The other spawn from Nepal Shrine, that's kind of wasted-ish. It's nice to have, but it's not useful that often. Sanctum, no wasted space. Again, feels like kind of cramped. Village, no wasted space. Niche, some niche space, but no wasted space. Yeah, lots of fluff, I guess, in the newer costs, but yeah, okay. Okay, this is the, I need to get the names for this. Does anyone have the names for these? This is kind of something, I guess. Mini here. This is so freaking beautiful, though, I'm not gonna lie. Mini here. I'm just gonna give these names freaking downtown. Mega over here, which is like useful. And then this is the path, the high ground with interconnectivity with a mini in here. Is there a mini in here? Or am I smoking? No, I'm thinking of the building up there. So main, beach, downtown, and volcano. Yeah, I mean that's not bad. That's not a bad name, honestly. It's also called downtown? Okay. But how do we know that? Is that from the wiki? Because I don't mind using the wiki, but I just don't know if the wiki's... I swear I checked something and I didn't see anything. Mini goes underneath here. This mini is kind of sort of relevant. Man, there's so much wasted space in these maps. Like what the frick, guys? Like what the frick? You know what I'm saying? I guess... I don't know. Again, I don't want to complain as much, but... I don't know. Like, this is super cool. Like, it's beautiful, but like, no. Why are the subtitles off in the DPS guide in the YouTube video? Because YouTube doesn't have enabled closed captions as far as I know anymore. For a lot of videos, you have to like manually put them in as far as I know. But I didn't disable them. It just doesn't add them. Wind sprints with no shirt and soccer cleats on, literal chills on. It's not soccer cleats. Well, I guess it could be either. Auto generated though, yeah, but there's nothing there. That's the thing though. It's like I normally like you could. So I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, look, hang on. The worst part about that too is it keeps eating my timestamps. Like my timestamps keep disappearing for no reason. So check this out. I didn't add these captions. Right? But you go to this. I have no freaking idea. No, it's no problem, mate. I don't blame you. I'd be frustrated too. If it makes you feel any better, I'm annoyed about it as well. It's definitely this, and also the timestamps keep disappearing. This is what I literally do. I literally have to. I'll check this, and the timestamps are gone. I get a comment. Timestamps are gone. So here's what I do, guys. Here's the advanced level way of dealing with this. I press here. I press space bar randomly. Press save, and you know it does it. And it's like, why is that the solution? It's so annoying. I have no idea why it eats them, and then I just put a space, and then it fixes them. It happened on SVB's video as well. Yeah. Shut up, Matt. Okay, so oddly enough, it's just the Mega here, but yeah, Mega on this side. Okay, whoops. Okay, there you go. In this little room here. Yeah. And then minis on either side. And let's mirror to the opposite side. So there's this little nugget here. Little mini over here. Right. Mini here. Do that one. That was useful. Like, even like this high ground isn't particular. I guess it's fairly useful. Yeah, I guess it's all right. No, I'm being nitpicky here. That's useful. Meg under here. This one's not as complicated, I would say. Mini. Like a freaking bat, man. Yeah. Ooh. Is that a coffee? Or, oh no, it's water. Yeah, okay. I think that's mostly it, yo. Mini, and then the Mega there, and then the mini here. Yeah. Go to the third one here. In case you guys didn't know how I'm doing this, when you go into modes, go into control, and select the one that you want. If you're not sure which is which, just keep rinse and repeating, but it beats like rolling the dice over and over again. Need coffee right now? Now, I don't like this one. I'm not gonna lie with you guys. First off, like, you know, what the frick? But also, like, I don't like this. Nobody spawn camps in this match as much because it's so open. But yeah, I don't like this one as much. Don't yawn or else what? Okay, so you go out here. This is the volcano one, right? So this is the name of the map in the hero select. Oh, I'm such a jackass, guys. Like, how stupid can you be? Like, how am I that stupid? Thank you, Jacob. Okay, so this wraps around to the Mega, which is fairly useful. Wait, what the? I didn't even know. There's like a freaking door frame thing here, so that's something, I guess. There's like again, just feels like maybe it's the lack of health packs here, but it just doesn't feel like this whole section of the map here feels like totally unviable. Like this here, all of this, all of this, all of this, like it just feels totally wide open and naked, and there's like no health packs or anything. Like this whole section is totally useful. So, meh. This area is pretty important to use. Like, this is really important, really powerful. But again, it's awkward. Like, you would swear that there should be something here, right? Like a mini health pack, but there isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, this whole flank route, like, that nobody ever uses, it's just, there's just nothing there. Like, I feel like you need something there to kind of motivate players to take that angle route, right? To fight away from point, and there just isn't anything. So there is this. So this is important to know. I guess we'll talk about in the thing here. You know, actually, I'm not gonna, no spoilers. You guys are gonna have to wait and see. Yeah. Like, where the frick are the health packs, y'all? It's actually insane, like, how, like, you go from, like, the freaking beach one or whatever. It's like health packs everywhere. Here, there's, like, nowhere. Wait, there's a health pack over here. Where was it? Where was it? Under here? Yeah. No spoilers, guys. No spoilers in the map guide. It's about to come in 12 minutes. Yeah, so I guess the only thing left to explore is here. Which, to me, this feels really bad. You guys could probably guess my issues with this section. Right? What's the issue with this section? You see it, right? You see it, right? There's nothing, right? Imagine if that door, like, led to over here, you know, or something like that. It's like, what's the point of this entire thing being here? Like, this door, this freaking door needs to be open, and there needs to be a mini health pack, and then 2 separate stairways that wrap around to probably here, honestly. That would be my suggestion. Like, there needs to be a freaking door frame here. You know, that leads you to underneath with a mini, and that you can go underneath. People to fall into the lava, but like, yeah, I see no. Imagine if, like, dude, can you guys imagine this? Hear me out. How do we retake this point? Guys, trust. Go in this way, go down the staircase, you know? So you go down the staircase, you grab the mini, or whatever. You guys are rotating as 5. All right, everybody, 3, 2, 1, jump pad, boing! You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, that'd be hilarious. Stop making these noises, man. Okay, dude. But yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity. It's just like a dead end, you know. I think it's potential. But yeah, I mean, it's a really visually cool map. Maybe it's got its issues though. But I do think that, like, a lot of Koth maps are kind of problematic, honestly. Like, I think Nepal is a freaking garbage map. I'm not gonna lie with you guys. Village and Sanctum specifically, I think are poorly designed. They're beautiful maps, but so I think, like, a lot of Koth maps are kind of sucky. You know, it's like, let's not sit here and pretend that new map's bad. You know, like, even Busan I think is really rough, and there's also aspects of, like, even like Lijiang has, like, really rough points as well. So what do you think of the ice map? I think it's okay. It's not bad. There's the one, I think, Icebreaker, the big one, is like a lot of wasted space. But yeah, it's got some points that are okay. I think it's, like, fine, I guess. It's all right. I think they said for the first time 3 different people designed each submap, so we know who to blame. No, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, let's actually do the guide thing. You know what I'm saying? So let's start off by going to the spawn room. Volcano. There you go, chat. So, Volcano, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Volcano. So, it's a bit more of a short-range composition style map, just because of how much of the fighting revolves around really 2 points of the map, which everyone knows point, which all the fights revolve around point, but a lot of it is, like, the only relevant off angle is this side, which is an obscenely short sightline angle. So generally you're going to be running compositions like Reaper, May, Genji, Tracers, Sombra, Sojourn, things like that can contest this space here or can fight on point. Snipers aren't bad, but they're a little bit limited with how they can play. So you're going to notice that this angle here, the more open angle, is like really, really bad. And so the only sightline that you can actually play is essentially here, which is not bad if you're playing a character like an Ana, Baptiste. I guess a little far for Baptiste, but there can be value found here. But it's if you're playing like a Widowmaker that you want to change your sightlines or other more sniper-oriented characters, you're going to have a hard time changing your sightlines on the map beyond this situation here. So it's kind of more of a short-range composition-friendly map or dive composition-friendly map. So point is powerful. Obviously, I would not recommend holding on point too much unless you're holding the front corner. It's a little bit too naked. I think a priority for people is to try and get control of this right side so that if you can have a point, you can also have an off angle from this right side. I think this high ground has really good sight lines here. The challenge, obviously, is this is pretty tight. So jump pad, not particularly useful. We were just talking about this. Not particularly useful. It's something that you can be aware of and utilize, but sadly, there's no door here that goes to anywhere. So the flank angles there are just not super relevant. So backliners, really passive. Zenyatta, Ana, you could do work up here. Other than that, flankers, be aware of this route. It's not particularly useful, but the more important route to be aware of is this route that wraps around this way with a mega health back. And this can not only wrap around to the relevant flank that we talked about, but it can also wrap all the way around to the enemy side and be able to have free access onto the enemy backline. Now, I want you to keep in mind that something we pointed out, there's a real dearth of health backs back here. So it's really just this mega. And there's a mini underneath on both sides here. That's going to be mirrored on the opposite side. But there are not many health backs in this map. So you're going to have a bit of a hard time playing yourself as a flanker if you're not leaning into your the right side. Because at least with the right side, you can get supported, right? And you can also have the mega health back. But there are not many health backs in this area here. So left side, not particularly useful. You can wrap around and access the backline from here. That's fairly good if you're a flanker. And there is a mega health back here. But you're pretty much limited. There's only really two approaches from either side. And there's a lot of these like little hallways that you can utilize like this here that aren't super useful, right? Because the problem is that the sightline of this little hallway doesn't really take you anywhere. You can't really see anything. And even little things like here, like if you're a flanker and you're wrapping around this side, well, it doesn't really get you anywhere. If you're taking the time as Tracer to wrap around to here and then wrap around deeper, at that point in time, you just rather go out the other angle and go a little bit safer, a little bit deeper from this path, even though it takes a little bit longer. So that's mostly it. Tanks generally want to be fighting, I would say either on this corner, like I said, on point, or fighting on this choke here. Not a whole lot more to add. This is probably the most basic of all the Samoa points. Any questions? Do not AFK stand on point in the open, die, then say, where's my team? Yeah. This is a situation where you might have to contest point, but you really don't want to contest point from the middle of point. No cover whatsoever. Really bad. Any questions? Any other points? No pun intended points. Huh? I can already tell where Matt's going to go with this one. I am not ready for this. How do you feel about holding deeper in that lava room? Like pushing up and holding people here. Yeah, so I think this is definitely something where like holding deeper can definitely be useful. So you'll see people sometimes holding more aggressively here instead of holding on point. So this might work if you are running one of those aforementioned brawl compositions where this choke is pretty nasty. And because you're holding this choke, there's ways of setting up different off angles with more variety than just holding on point. The only thing you got to be aware of is there's always a way of breaking that flank. So if you're being held there, you are vulnerable to this flank here. And actually, in my opinion, more importantly, you're very vulnerable to people wrapping all the way around behind this way. But yeah, there is a time and a place where holding close here is relevant, depending on the composition. If I'm playing tank, how do I convert from holding high ground to contesting point against brawl? For example, I'll be worried about getting rolled. Right, so you might be starting here, like how do I touch point? You touch point at the last possible second, really. You leverage your spam, you let your team poke out just a little bit first. It's always a case with things like this. Like think about like Nepal Village, think about like Lijiang Tower Control Center. You only touch point when you absolutely have to. So you want to leverage your spam, play it slow, and then touch point the last possible second. And then preferably touch point in a location where like you can at least disengage to cover if you need to. Do I like apple juice or orange juice more? Orange juice, 100%. Apple juice is for betas. Apple juice is hard beta material. Okay, let's move on to the next one. You like apple juice? I'm just not like, I'm not surprised. The shoe ticks, or the shoe fits. Nah, you guys are total L. Bro, apple juice is so beta. Apple juice is so beta that they literally put it in other fruit juices because it's cheap and just like cheap sugar. Literally, seriously, anytime you guys get like one of those crayon apple or like orange mango, blah, just check the ingredients list. Hello? Oh, I need to restart the lobby. Whoopsies. Submissive fruit juice. I'm telling you guys, yes. Okay, Samoa Beach. Good to know. Let's move me back to here. Cringe take? Your mother's cringe. Okay, so Samoa Beach. Now, this one is, I think, probably the most beautiful of the points. Maybe the most beautiful Koth point that we have. One of the most beautiful Koth points that we have, certainly. But is, in my opinion, one of the more problematic balance ones, just because there are a couple of points that are really, really awkward to play around. So first things first, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This section of the map on my screen is almost entirely fluff. It is generally never good to spawn hold or hold close here. So you're not likely to be spawn held here. And even if you are, there are so many health packs and nooks and crannies and ways of getting around it. There's megas up there. There's flanks underneath. There's even cool things like this little flank here. Bet you guys didn't know about that. That one's all really great and all, but it's just not likely a portion of the map on either side that you're going to be really using much. It is worth noting that this little door frame has a mini and can wrap around on deeper flanks. Like that's kind of useful to know for flankers. And it is worth noting as well that like if you're going for a flank on this side, you can wrap all the way around. Like there's like just a straight lane from really both the far left and the far right, like most Koth points if you want to wrap all the way around behind. But you're just not going to be fighting much on that third of the map. It's really mostly the major, I won't even say the third, but like a good decent chunk of the map in the middle that you're going to be fighting. And this is where there's so much diversity in terms of like levels and layers of like what's good. So we're just going to start just here. We're just going to pick this room because everyone knows that there's going to be fighting at least starting from this room. So mini health pack here. Obviously, everybody knows that. There's a mini health pack back here. Everybody knows that. But what you might not know is that this here is not somewhere that you want to be pushing out as a unit as much as you possibly can. Maybe on first fight when there's like neutral ground. But I really strongly encourage people whenever you can, especially if you're running characters with mobility, Sombra Tracer, Genji, even characters like a Casti, either Yari, Kiriko, something along those lines, you need to try to not push all out of this choke at the same time. The Indian team's holding this high ground, and they even have like, let's say an angle over here on this high ground here. This is like kind of a death trap, right? And you've probably had a lot of fights where people like kind of brute force it out here, and it feels terrible. So I recommend taking this left lane here with this mini, and there is a mega in here, and trying to utilize some pressure from here. You can also wrap all the way around behind here. The other alternative, which is a little bit worse for non-flankers, is to take this door out this direction and go through this high ground here. Now, the reason why I don't like this one as much is because the cover here is super, super awkward. And you're going to notice that there isn't like a lot of sustain here. There is this mini here, but it feels a little bit more open. And also your sight lines here aren't all that good. So you kind of have to commit, and committing for some of the slower characters can be hard. I do recommend it's better than 5 stacking and walking out, but just be aware of that. In terms of this building over here, this little tiki building over here, there is actually nothing in here, really. The only relevant thing is the mega back here, but there's really nothing here. You can use this to deepen your flanks and then access the enemy team's high ground, which is fairly useful. But again, a lot of fluff on this map, a lot of beautiful fluff, but fluff nonetheless. So again, you can leverage that. I do recommend being familiar with the underground pathing, which starts from the very far left side. From this perspective, you can go and touch point. You can also wrap around to the opposite side. And the big thing why this is important is it actually allows you to access the mega back here through this staircase here. So you can actually start here and grab the mega and then come up from behind this way. So basically, anytime that you're on the floor, there will be at least one, if not 2 ways, if not even 3 ways for you to be able to reach the high ground or the low ground. There's always going to be some sort of staircase or lever or flank to be able to reach that way. For defenders, I really recommend or neutrals, fighting with backline or squishy characters here, something that has a little bit more poke. You can force short range characters up in here. Flankers, you can wrap around flank the far flanks in either the left or the right. I don't generally... CGL, thank you for the raid, mate. I appreciate it. We're doing a Samoa guide really quickly. I appreciate the raid, mate. Hope you had a good stream. But I recommend like trying to keep your more static characters in this vicinity here, or even back here, where they have good sightlines but aren't too close, and they can have an easy LOS on the point. Short range characters, like I said, tanks, all that kind of stuff can hold here. Obviously, if you're playing a Winston, you might not want to stand out in the open here, but yeah, trying to do that. Now, one thing I do see occasionally is people overemphasizing point. Now, point is important. You need to cap the point to win the game. However, you want to spend as little time on point as you possibly can, similarly to Volcano, because point is very easy to get off-angled. It's like the typical arena thing where the point is very valuable, but is not very valuable space. In other words, to win a fight, standing on point is not going to help you. There's no cover. There is a little bit of cover underneath here, so that's something you can leverage if you're playing like a Tracer. Again, you can pressure point and then disengage. But for most characters, you do not want to be on point. In fact, going to point too early can give the enemy team the opportunity to get out of the choke, take off angles, take high ground, and then you're kind of screwed. So you want to prioritize the positions around point, but not point itself unless you absolutely have to. That's pretty much all I have here. I think it's important to note, like I said, that there are a lot of flank angles that wrap all the way around, but a lot of those flank angles, the only stuff that really matters is what's on my screen right now. A lot of the fluff on the left, a lot of the fluff on the right, not super relevant. There are some megas, like for example, there's a mega up along coast there. Like you probably didn't even know that, and there's ones on the opposing high ground, as well as a mega in spawn. But a lot of these things are just not going to be particularly useful most of the time, unless you're maybe a Sombra living in the backline. Any questions for this point, y'all? So it makes other juices taste better with superiority. Yeah, see, you're just lost. You're a lost cause. There is no saving you at this point. You've been not. What's the opposite of based? You're apple pilled now. It's over. You've taken you're blue pilled. Cringed and blue pilled. You're appled and blue pilled right now. Apple juice copium still. No, you're not no based. You're the only way that you're based is like you're appealing to the base instincts for sugar, but no flavor. It's terrifying. No questions? I mean, this is just gorgeous. What would you guys rather look at? Stare at my face or stare at this beautiful, beautiful landscape? Well, the opposite of base is an acid, so yeah, see. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one, y'all. So control. Did I do second? I think I did third there, so we'll move here and make sure that's the right one. Sour take. We put a bag in your face? No. Cannot do that. Apple juice can get you get sick or after in class. Orange juice can never. Having a very strong opinion about orange juice is very cringe. I don't know. Sounds like you guys just can't handle facts. Samoa downtown. All right, it is downtown. Let's do it. Lemonade is peak though. True, it is good.
Welcome to Samoa.
I think you having a strong opinion about people who have strong opinions about juice is cringe. Milk is superior to all juice. Sounds like a strong opinion. Okay, so let's talk about downtown. Now, downtown, similarly to the previous one, has a lot of fluff. A lot of areas of the map that are not going to be particularly useful. There are buildings in here with minis. This first building has a mini. This building, even all the way over here, is like, oh, look at this. Isn't this nice? But it's just not going to be held most of the time. And there's even this building we discovered, this one right here, which has nothing, right? So there's a lot of portions of this map. There's a mini underneath here. And then I think we already pointed this out. But yeah, we already pointed this out. There's a mini over here. But there's a lot of buildings around here that are particularly fluff just because it's not very good for defenders to fight there. There's no real advantage to fighting there as opposed to fighting on point or fighting the buildings. You might be held here because this is a pretty nice choke point. But again, that's after a big chunk of the map has already been surpassed. If you are being spawn held, always remember that there's always a flank to the left or a flank to the right. Remember, you can even go out the spawn door out in the grass. This looks like you can't go on the grass, but you can literally go on the grass. So you can go out this way as well as on the far right side. So highly recommend not worrying yourself too much about the first third on either side and focusing mostly on the main area. So main area has a couple of things that are to be aware of. Everybody knows the point, but people need to remember that there is cover on point similarly to Oasis City Center. You can contest point from this position. So if you're playing a flanker, you want to be obnoxious, want to back cap a Sombra, there's all sorts of things here. And even as tanks, like if you're pressuring point, you really need to be playing around this structure in the middle because it's the difference between the other 2 points where you actually have cover on the point. So if you're contesting point, if you're fighting on a point, the cover here is incredibly important for DPS and tanks that are fighting here. Supports, you can definitely position back here. Everyone's going to be defaulting to that, but it does make you open to flanks. And if you have time to reposition, an angle here sometimes can be quite good. But also, if you have the time to position, there are a lot of good sightlines here for more ranged characters. The way to get here is to go out this way and to come up these stairs here. So you come up this way, go up the stairs, take a left, and then there you go. You have a nice little sightline on point. Great cover. The only downside of this is obviously there's not a ton of health pack options here. There is a health pack in here somewhere. I will find it. Give me just a moment. But yeah, oh yeah, it's under here. So I guess it's an option technically, but it's a pretty inaccessible option. So that's something to know of. And there is a mega all the way over here. But again, this area is probably not something you're going to be utilizing a whole lot unless you're maybe hard flanking as a tracer, summer, and so on. Okay, so let's actually continue. Yeah, no, I think that's mostly it. Let's actually ping pong to the other side. So other side's going to be a little bit more hot. This building here does have a mini. This is pretty important. If they're holding close, it's good to know that. People will sometimes contest you in this choke here, but you always have the option to fight in here. Now, there's a mega here. There is an angle on point, a great angle on point that you can take here, whether you're soldier, damage boosted, Ash, Sojourn, even just a ball setting up for a flank on backline. Really, really, really nice here. Not very small choke, pretty big choke, right? And then the other point as well is this staircase leads to a nice little cozy high ground where you can peek out and shoot on point. Not a lot of characters will be able to utilize this. It would take a character that's either being mercy pocketed, maybe a soldier here, maybe even an Ana in certain circumstances could come up here and have a nice sightline because there is really only one path to you. The only problem in this position is that if you disengage, you do kind of drop into the open. So that's just one thing to be aware of. That's pretty much it on this map. This map is relatively simple. Like I said, so much of the nuance of these Samoa maps is relatively fluff. I would say that this map is a lot more friendly to the more pokey-oriented characters than some of the other 2 points, just because of the more open space on point and some of the fact that the flanks are a little bit more broad. But for the most part, this point is a relatively balanced brawl, dive, spam. Any of the long-range, short-range mobile characters will do just fine. Is there a health pack near that high perch? This one up here, yes, there's the mega underneath in here, but that is all. And there's also, like I said, the mini on both sides, but that takes a little bit getting to. Any other questions? What is going on in my Twitch chat? Every single time they set the bar low, they rumba right underneath it. It's like playing limbo. Kind of far. Lots of downtime you get poked there without support. Then yeah. And it honestly, the sightline isn't all that much better than just taking the angle here anyway. In which case, you're much faster to get to those positions. I would agree. I feel like this high perch is very, very niche. The options to rotate from it aren't particularly good. I also feel like, wait. Get here somewhere. Shallow and pedantic. Yeah, maybe. Do you think that there will be a boy born that can swim faster than a shark? Good question. I mean, keep trying, right? You got to stay in your grind set. Surely one day. Sounds like a really great Disney movie. Baby that could outswim a shark. Would you say Diver Brawl is better than Samoa? Does it depend on the point? Yeah, it depends on the point. I think I would say this one probably favors Dive a little bit, just because of the more open space. I would say the previous point is more 50-50 because it is more enclosed, but there's a lot of verticality that Dive can play around with, especially around point. And then the first one I would say is because it's more flat, and I would say it's more brawl focused. Not a girl. Fair point, right? I can swim faster than a shark if you tie me to a boat. My Twitch chat is getting weird, man. You guys are getting weird. Phelps max out like 5 miles per hour. What a beta. Absolute beta, 5 miles per hour. That's just embarrassing. I'd be embarrassed to call myself a professional swimmer if I can only swim at 5 miles per hour. Real men swim at like 10 or 11, maybe 14 miles per hour. I played Samoa a few times and literally never played this point. Interesting. Rolled the dice incorrectly then. Real men swim at the same speed as sharks. True. That's exactly it. Much more civilized than other chat. Yeah, this chat has gotten strange. Real men hit sharks' noses. Real men are sharks. I think that's the real hot take here. Real men are sharks, I think. Alofa, treats. Are you going to do Ask Spilo this week? Yeah, I might do Ask Spilo this week. Great whites can hit like 40 miles per hour. Well, see, the great whites are on their grind set, y'all. Gremlins, thanks for the kind words, man. Yeah, we all miss Jane, man. Real men are sharks. Yes, I would agree with that. I could not put it better myself. Okay, let's do some Ask Spilo. Are you guys ready for the absolute juice? Are you guys ready for the absolute juice? Check this out. Look at this. Boys, guys, oh boy. Oh boy. Now, if you want to contribute to this, which I encourage you to do so, jump in my Discord and talk to me what you think needs to change for Roadhog, Orisa, Doomfist, Wrecking Ball, Diva, Ramatra. Because that's going to be the project starting this Saturday. This Saturday. We've done DPS, we've done supports. We're now on the tank grind. So, yeah, it's going to be really juicy. People were cooking indeed. Yeah, so make sure that if you haven't joined the Discord already, or if you are in my Discord and you have some thoughts and you haven't shared them, feel free. Because last time we did these reworks, we went through every single post. Every single post. Generally, I was expecting last time to be able to do like 2 supports at a time or like 3 supports at a time, you know? But the reality situation is that we only did like 1 at a time, especially with the bigger ones like the Moira, the Mercies, and so on. So I imagine we'll probably do just Roadhog on Saturday. Maybe we'll do more than that. Maybe we'll do like some Wrecking Ball tweaks or stuff. But yeah, we go through every post. How much coaching? Exclamation mark coaching. Exclamation mark coaching. But yeah, we'll have some fun with it. I was so sad with my Roadhog rework that it reminded me that we needed to continue the tank or the rework project. So yeah, should be fun. But yeah, I guess we could do some Ask Spilo. He'll threaten your life. I won't threaten your life. I just happen to be you. You guys ever have like those things like, what if you could go back in time and like beat up Genghis Khan to prevent, the massacres? You know what I'm saying? It's like me with that. That's me with Matt. Like, what if you could go back in time? I see something in Matt that's just profoundly evil, so I just, verbally berate him, in the hopes that it will prevent, future disasters. You'll threaten your sanity, though? What sanity? Meet up Mao Zedong. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Oh, dear. What do you think this wacky cast rework concept? I think it's 2 pages of Paladin's book disclaimer. Okay, let's take a look here. Cast right mouse button now marks 1 enemy for 7 seconds. Mark target is revealed to cast his teammate. Cast his shots landing on mark target does not consume ammo. Did I charge this up? Winds up faster on mark target. 40... I mean, it's freaking weird, but sure. I mean, I'd be down to try something like that in the experimental patch. It's definitely like anything that's super weird like this, I'm always down to try just in experimental. You would prevent goats, yes. Roll. Max distance of, say, 10-meter duration. Okay. New effect. If the first primary fire shot at roll lands a headshot, get a roll charge to roll again. I mean, okay. Nade, revert to old flashbang. When instead of stunning, the explosion has a current hinder plus slow effect. Maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm yeah. I mean, it's not the worst change I would suggest. I think it's impossible to say like whenever you think smoking changes like these, they're either like absolute garbage or like actually pretty good, but they're impossible to really tell without like actually testing them in a game environment. But I mean, it's wild, but I'd be down to try it. Yeah. Yeah, at some point, sadly, I'm probably like in the next 2 or 3 months going to have to increase prices by a little bit just because of inflation. But I'm trying to like make sure that like barring inflation, that it like stays like affordable for the most part, without being like cheap. Because obviously I have to eat, but I don't want it to be like, I don't want it to be unaffordable. I've even had ideas where like I'm thinking about like raising prices more, but having like a sponsorship program where like people could get coaching sessions, even if they can't afford it. Because that was my major concern, is like, what if there's somebody that really wants a coaching session but legit can't afford it? Because I've had a few of those already, right? Whether it was like a currency like transfer thing, and I'd like to figure out a way to where like I would be able to raise prices for most folks that can afford it, but for people that can't afford it, they're able to like find a solution besides that. Obviously, that's why I try to make as much of my content publicly available as well. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. What abilities do you feel simply don't belong in a game like Overwatch? Let's just go through like my most problematic abilities. I don't think like I can necessarily paint with a broad brush about what abilities do not belong, period. But I can definitely say some abilities that I don't like in Overwatch. I don't like regenerative burst just because I don't like raw sustain abilities that only have the purpose of raw sustain. I don't think it belongs in Overwatch 2 because I think AoE sustain in particular is not particularly useful. I don't like Hinder in Overwatch 2. I don't think that's a hot take. I don't like Power Block because it basically punishes the enemy. You get punished for the enemy, for your team's mistake, and the Doomfist relies on people making mistakes for it to happen. The difference between it and Zarya Bubble is that the Zarya Bubble can enable the Zarya. If you don't shoot the Zarya Bubble still gets value. That's the crucial difference, because you can pop Zarya Bubble and take space with it. And if they don't shoot you, then you just took a bunch of space without taking any damage, right? So like Power Block doesn't allow you to take space. It buys you time for you to get your CDs back, which is something, but you can't move while you're doing it. So it doesn't allow you to actually like take space or take positions. And so that's the crucial difference to me. Well, the easy thing to say with that though is Spud Sale is that some people like it's easy to say that in like America maybe, or like Western, but like there's a lot of people that I've worked with that have like really terrible currency transfer. So the coaching session is like 2 times more expensive, 2.5 times more expensive. You know what I'm saying? And that's like a lot of money for some people who might not be. Right. Exactly, Matt. Exactly. It's like $100, So it's like $40 is like not that expensive, but like $100, it's like, that's a lot more, Yeah. I think this is all fine. I'm not a huge fan of Storm Arrow, but I don't think it. I'm not going to die on that hill. I don't like Pylon in its current state. I think it's a very, very poor design ability. We talked about that in the role debate today. I don't like Trap. I don't like Suzu doing as many things as it does. I definitely don't like Life Grip. I definitely don't like Life Grip at all. Life Grip is something I've always hated. It's the most fun part of his kit for sure, but I don't like it. And not a huge fan of Pedal either, to be honest with you guys. It just feels so gimmicky, I hear you, Alindio, but the problem with that is it's so hard to like. So when I coached mixed martial arts, there was like 2 schools that I coached at. I was the head instructor at one that we had about 100 students. It was smaller. And then there's the other one that had about 400, 500 students that I coached at. And it was like me, Pepper, and the owner. We were like the trifecta, right? Pepper was like the head instructor of one, but I coached the other, and like we were all like best friends, and it was great. He was like the best boss I've ever had. We had a lot of fun. But the problem, one of the things was like we all had like really, really big hearts. And it was for kids, but we got scammed a few times by people took advantage of like the scholarships basically, because people that could afford it or were like making really poor choices with their finances were basically abusing the scholarship system. So it's like really hard. It's hard in person to know who's taking advantage of you, but it's even harder over the internet. And the problem is that people would take advantage of me and that would screw people that really wanted the session. You know what I'm saying? Because like there's people out there like that. The one nice thing about the price thing is it limits the people. I coach people that really want to get coaching. I remember when I did sub VOD reviews only, was not fun. I would end up coaching the same people over and over and over again that were hard stuck, and they literally like it would be the same mistakes over and over again, and they weren't even playing the game that much, and they just want to like just for fun, you know. You have to like sort stuff, you know. Is it easy to get a scholarship for martial arts in the USA? I have no idea. It was our business. I mean, when I say scholarship, I mean like we didn't charge people to go based off of their financial situation that we knew of and stuff. Yeah. So whatever. There's no perfect way. No, I agree. I agree. I've thought about like having it like where like not to be corny, but like people have to like write up why they or like what they want out of like I don't even know, like fill out a form or something like to make sure I can like sniff out. But before I went like the online payment, I got people would literally there were some scumbags that would fill out my coaching session and take the block away, but wouldn't pay and just would fill out random crap. And I wouldn't see it till the day of. I checked the coaching form and it was just like blah, 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 and they just take the slot away from me and not pay me anything. So they literally took like $40 away from me, and then they didn't even get coached and didn't pay. I don't even know who they were. Just some random guy just like trolling me. It was like it's not great. It's like I need that money, kind of. It was me. Okay, screw you, man. I don't like Res. I don't like Res. I don't like a lot about Mercy. I don't like a lot about Mercy. I don't like a lot about Mercy, to be honest with you guys. I don't like Res very much. I don't like the way it's not really I'm not gonna talk about. I'm gonna talk about CDs. Okay. I'm not a big fan of Damage Orb. Fortify, I think, does too much, and that she doesn't do enough outside of that. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing a credit check. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be doing that. I don't like how his cooldowns function, but I don't necessarily have a problem with them. I would love them if they were changed. Blah 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 blah. I don't like heal as much. I don't like a tank just having raw sustain, like raw heal as being his like tank mitigation. I've talked about that on stream today, but he needs it for sure. But like, it's sad that he needs it, you know. Again, I don't like heal station in terms of how it's functioned now, but I don't. It's not like inherently. Okay. We'll talk about inherently broken. I don't like hack. I don't like hack how it functions. But I understand it's not a big problem for me right now. Not a huge fan of either turret, but they're a lot less offensive than they used to be. Yeah, I mean it like it's not terrible. Do you think Overwatch 2 hero design is getting too complicated? I don't know. It's ironic because I look at both like Lifeweaver and Roadhog as being like complicated kits, but like really simple execution. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe not really simple execution, but like for like complicated kits, they're like too easy to play. That's the irony, you know. Whereas you look at like a character like Winston and Tracer, relatively simplistic kit, extremely like difficult dynamics, you know. So I'm like of the type. I'd be down if they like simplified kits a little bit, but like just executed them better. But like that takes a lot of work, you know what I'm saying? And so my concern is that you know, as we push the hero release cycles, that like there's going to be like more like we're going to get more hero concepts than like actual like complete heroes. Like I think Lifeweaver is a great example of like a hero concept of like having something that's like, you know, life grip and like pedal and like these, but like he doesn't function well as a hero, you know. I think like this new burrowing hero, like is that hero going to actually be like fundamentally fun to play and good for the game and enjoyable, or is it just going to be, hey, this is a cool idea, what if a hero burrowed? You know what I'm saying? Like I like it's always like that push pull between like what's visually interesting. Like Malga is a great example of like a character that looks freaking amazing and looks cool and has like this very clear character design, but it might just be a bad hero. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Yeah, I don't mind that Spud sale as long as they make what I've always said is the Overwatch blacklist, where they let some characters that they don't have time to rework and they just let them be bad. You know. Okay. Have you given it 100% to get pregnant, Spilo? Pepper, please confirm. That's in reference to a meme I posted earlier. And no, not yet. I will. Yeah. How do you think it would feel if they changed every crit modifier to ×2? Made tanks only take 1.5. I don't like this. I think you need to get full damage for shooting a tank. Personally. Because it's already easy as it is with like the tank hitbox to not even go for the head for some targets. So I think that you wouldn't want to go into that habit. I think that this is too broad of a brush. I think it's very easy to like look at like a lot of like fundamental problems with Overwatch and be like, they just need to do this one thing. Remove the roll passive, nerf this or buff this or give tanks CC reduction or whatever. But it's like, I really do think that sadly the answer is probably a little more complicated. I think you need to try, you need to do it. You need to do a couple of things. Well, first off, I'm wondering, why did you freaking roll? Why did you roll into this thing, bro? You took like most of the damage from rolling through there. You wanted to roll through here? Boop, boop, boop. Shoot this way, disengage out that way. You messed up your rollout, my friend. I know this is mostly a joke, but I'm like the kid that takes everything seriously, Yeah. No humor. No more humor here. No humor allowed in this chat. How can I position as Ana when my team is running dive and the enemy team is running sim? A little bit of hide and seek. If I assume you're talking about like a solo sim shouldn't be too much of a problem, but if it's like a full sim brawl comp and they're like TPing on top of you, play high grounds, make them use teleport to get to you. Always have like a disengage route planned out, and then you could play a little bit of hide and seek as well. Also, nade really like you might die, but nade and sleep like is like you can like cripple the brawl comp if you hit a big nade. We saw it a lot in Overwatch League where like they TP the Ana nades and just runs, and even if she dies, like it hurts. I hate jokes. Well done, my friend. I agree. Do you have a favorite meta comp to coach with Hero Craft the pro level mine? I've talked about this before. I've always liked double flex support dive. I think double flex support dive is not something that we're likely to see very often, but double flex support dive is so much fun where it's like a dive poke hybrid. You know what I'm saying? Like Winston, Ball, Doom, Ana, Zen, maybe a little bit of Ana Brig here and there. Ana Kiriko, Tracer, Sombra, Ash. And I just find that combo to be so much fun to watch and so much fun to coach because it's like a perfect combo of like high skill characters, but like with some of the more pop off characters as well. So I think it's the best composition in the game. It was the most fun to watch, most fun to play. It hasn't been meta very often, but when it is, it's a blast. I'm okay. Is Biggie Cheese here? Biggie Cheese isn't here, right? I'm actually a Brawl hater. I'm not as much of a fan of Brawl comp. Now, I will say Brawl is a lot better in Overwatch 1 than it is in Overwatch 2. A lot more fun. 6v6 Brawl was like so sleeper. I did not enjoy coaching it. Whether it was Reaper Sombra, Winston, or whether it was Mei, I do not enjoy like short range compositions. So that being said, Brawl is not as bad in Overwatch 2 because the minusing the tank definitely opens up a lot of counterplay and like pop off potential for DPS and support. All your homies hate home Biggie Cheese. Can I coach me for a big interview? Yes. Hey Zen, you got this, dude. You got this, man. You got this, bro. You know what's actually funny? I was thinking about doing like a funny content idea for like where I just like motivate and yell and motivational speech for like an hour. And then that's it. Spilo yells at you for an hour, motivates you for an hour. Do you think GOATs accelerate team dynamic play and professional a lot of play? I definitely think so, yeah. I don't think it was necessarily because it was just GOATs, although that definitely helped. I think I think what it did is because we had a meta for so freaking long, you had to like dig into the nuances and the details because there's nothing else to do. So whenever a meta sticks around for a while, people start to like really figure out little tiny details. And the fact that there wasn't as much mechanical pop off potential definitely made it very interesting. Just do it. Yeah. We know counterpicking is a problem in Overwatch. How would you feel if players locked out from playing the rest of the match if they swap? I just feel like again, it's like one of those things that's where like it's such a band-aid solution. Anything that's like one-dimensional, it's not a bad idea, but like anything that's one-dimensional and that's it, and you can't do this, especially if it goes into like the hero picks and things, is like super, super risky and probably not going to solve the issue totally. With theory craft in comps other than dive, brawl, poke. Well, the thing with dive, brawl, poke is that like most compositions in Overwatch, whether it's in ranked or like contenders or World Cup, they're not dive, brawl, and poke compositions. Everything is hybrid. Almost everything is hybrid. The reason why I still use the dive, brawl, poke caricatures is because they fit heroes. And so what I would say is dive heroes are mobile heroes. Poke heroes are ranged heroes. Brawl heroes are short range characters. And we're going to start to know is that a lot of the poke characters have a little bit of mobility, or a lot of the brawl characters have a little bit of range. And so like, I don't think we necessarily need to fit like anything. It doesn't need to fit a caricature. The only reason I use it, just like the flex support and like main support, is just because the vernacular is familiar, right? People know what I'm talking about when I say poke, but also we haven't seen Orisa, Sigma, Double Sniper, BAP, Zen in a long time. Even the Overwatch 2 equivalent is very, very situational and not been something that we've seen very often either. Most compositions that you're going to see in ranked and pro are going to be hybrid. And a lot of heroes are also hybrid as well. Orisa is, I'd say Orisa is more brawl, but like characters like Sigma has some dynamics, Zarya has some dynamics, Sojourn very dynamic, Kiriko very dynamic. Kiriko is like a dive support that does very well in spam and was initially played in a brawly style, which is what makes it interesting. What do you think about the argument that EDRE is much better than the Cowboy, and having her a better range is justified because she has to charge her shots at the Jedi? As long as it's true and pays, we probably want to place shots if I really want to be. I'm not sure I understand the question here. Isn't much better than the Cowboy? I think it's apples to oranges. You can't look at like, doesn't Iliari beat a Cassidy in a 1v1? I think you need to look at, is Iliari balanced? Is Cassidy balanced? If so, why? I think like you can't balance in a 1v1 vacuum. The game's not 1v1. So like if Iliari can beat Cassidy consistently in a 1v1, that might be a problem, but it might also be that Cassidy provides a lot more value elsewhere. Now I would argue that he doesn't. So maybe but that's an issue, not necessarily with the matchup, Because like think about it this way, like how many times is a Kiriko or how many times is like a Bastion going to kill a Baptiste, It's not going to happen, right? Like even an Ana should dunk on a Bastion, right? But does that mean that Bastion is underpowered? No, of course not. Like he has unbelievable strengths, Hero dynamic tier list? Maybe. It's a good idea. I feel like that one would be maybe the hardest tier list we've ever done. Maybe the hardest tier list we've ever done. Really. So when using an alt account to learn Echo, Tracer, Hanzo, Mason, should I try to go for a certain amount of matches played, or should I go for what I'm feeling? I would go with what you're feeling. Like it depends on how serious you are. So like let's say you're a hit scan player and you're trying to learn Tracer. You need to, if you want to have your Tracer at the same level as your other characters, then you need to play with the Tracer until she's at the same level of your other characters, the same rank specifically. If you're like, well, it doesn't need to be as good as my other characters, just like competitive. Okay, then fine. Like 3 tiers below or 4 tiers below or whatever. Use your judgment. Now to play catch up, this is how it usually looks. Okay, this is how improvement works. So like, let's say your Hanzo is like here, right? And you're trying to get your Symmetra up to your Hanzo level. When you start playing Symmetra, she's going to be like, woo! And then you're going to plateau a little bit, right? So what you might do is you might spend whatever amount of time that you need to until you start to plateau and you start to really have to grind hard at the character to get better at her. and then leave it right there to where your Symmetra is okay. It's not quite as good as your Hanzo, but it's good enough. And to do that, I would say you need to spend more time with the characters that you're picking up, but maybe not quite as much as you think. Every tier list is the hardest I've ever done. But I keep outdoing myself, you know? Do you have any advice for the following style? Ball, Ashe, Tracer, Brig, Zen. We played the hybrid comp quite a bit. We find a lot of fun. It's a bit of a surprise that our coach basically told us we suck at it after last scrum. We're looking to play in a tournament next week, so that wasn't good news. Just plumbers compared to full dive ball comes over the backline. Like I don't play this. I'm playing Ashe in the dive country, more like a spam comp. What to calm? What is my mindset? Need to be able to engaging. How to play snipers? I would say call your sightlines. Call your sightlines. And the big thing here is that because you're playing Ashe, Brig, Zen, Ball, and Tracer all can dynamically position a lot more than you. Even Brig, Zen, right? So those guys can like rotate around, especially if the Brig is working with the Zenyatta, and they can move from like, you know, point X to point Y or point, you know, A to point B, you know, pushing around. So you might not have that same level of freedom, and you might not want to be using your coach gun to move around the map for that. So what I would do is make sure that you call your starting sight line, try to figure out where the line is, where your team is trying to fight, and then either set up around that, or you be the person that calls the sight line and play around that. Beyond that, I don't think you really need to call a whole lot more. You can call targets if you want to. Call your Bob, obviously, of course. That goes without saying. Prepare that and pre-fight. But that would be basically it. Yeah, hair in my mouth. Alexa, if you have any more, did I answer the question, or is there anything else? I'm pausing, so you have the opportunity. There it is. You have the opportunity to frantically type. What are good scenarios, situations to use Briggle? I like to use Briggle proactively when the map allows it. So because you're a lot slower in Briggle than you used to be, you have to kind of pre-position or play in a point to where you can actually like push with it. But obviously, if the enemy team is far away, it's not going to work. So in those situations when the enemy team is far away, or they're engaged, or like they're too far away, use it reactively. Like when they engage, doesn't necessarily counter ultimates, a lot of ultimates, but it can counter some. And if they engage without an ultimate, like whether the tank, DPS, support, whatever engage, then you can pop it. But I think Briggold is used a little bit more reactively generally than the old one, but you can still use it proactively when you can close the distance. I guess it's just how it differs deploying snipers and other comps. The only thing I would say with differing to play snipers and other comps is you're probably going to be forced to sweat and move a lot more in that comp because you're playing it with Ball Tracer, Brig, Zen. Whereas if you're playing something like a BAP Zen with like a Sigma, BAP Brig with a Sigma, just the nature of your tank line alone will slow down the amount of movement and rotating that you have to do. But with this composition, there's a lot more, with the ball stuff, there's probably a lot more dynamic movement, whether it's forward or backward. So you need to be prepared for that and communicating that as best you possibly can. Call your position, pay attention to where your ball tracers are engaging. That would be what I would say. You need to find a balance between calling your positions and listening to other people's positions, if that makes sense. Predicting where fights will be important is important. Maybe yes, correct. But not just predicting, also like, because that's something that you hopefully have more information on from your tank line too. In the Brig coaching video, you said there were some PC leagues, but I can't find any more info. Leagues like Discords for joining teams, competitive r/competitive Overwatch University, I believe. Scroll wheel. Why doesn't my scroll wheel work? Okay, the Elo Hell Discord, Get Good OW, and I think over Open Division. If you go and like search for Open Division, I'm not sure what any leagues. Maybe I misspoke. Usually play Alexa again. Tell you what, man, I cannot handle DPS players. We play Ryan, Sojourn, May, Bat, Lucio for Brawl. I agree with that in Colosseo. I'd rather play Hanzo than Sojourn, even though Sojourn is better player because the offense and Colosseo suck for various cases. And Sojourn had a very long story. My team thinks Sojourn is just better than Hanzo. I should stick to her even on Colosseo. I think we all agree it's not a big deal. You in your comments on this. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal, to be honest with you. I think Sojourn's going to be the safer pick without knowing what the enemy composition is. Because if they run anything that's like faster tempo, dive, hybrid, whatever, just having the Sojourn slide and having overclock is like really, really nice. Sojourn's definitely the safer pick. in a mirror, maybe Hanzo could overperform. Maybe if they were running like full snipers, Hanzo would probably feel better too. But yeah, I think Sojourn's generally the safer pick. What is my favorite race? Probably the 100 meters. Do you have any item wish list items? Mouse, keyboard, headphones, DPU, anything? Huh. I don't know. I would need to know my computer specs more. I don't know enough about it because I got help from my Discord building the computer I have right now, and it's pretty good. It's a big step up from my previous one. It's not a super computer, but it's pretty solid. I think I have anything that I really need. 100 meters is so beta. Well, you're familiar with that. Honestly, maybe a wireless mouse would be the only thing that I might need to get for Christmas. Because the one I have now I really like, but I got it from a friend, and the scroll wheel is broken. So it's kind of a pain, especially with VOD reviewing. It's really, really annoying. Is it worth upgrading to 240 hertz? If you can afford it, yes. I don't have 240 hertz. It's not necessary, but it's noticeable. Through the limitations of controller. Why did I? Why is? Why is Fidel Castro and Justin Trudeau on my screen? Why is there a Black Ops conspiracy theory infiltrating my Overwatch educational community? Oh. Oh my gosh. That's just awful. Logitech G Pro Superlight. Okay, well then there you go. Now I know what I want. Thank you. You're definitely carrying the child. Due to the limitations of controller, choosing your sensitivity settings console feels like you need to choose between high precision and fast reaction time. Would you say it's more worth playing? I would say it depends on your character. I was actually coaching a Sombra from console today, and it felt like the inability to flick your crosshair to throw your translocator was a huge issue. So maybe it would depend on your character. You know, like how many times are you expected to do rapid 90 degree or 180 angle changes? But yeah. So it's been a while since Summer's rework was out. Did your opinion on her change? No. I think I still think that there was a lot of room for addressing some more of her root issues. And the quality of life stuff is like really, really quite bad. I think that I enjoyed playing her. There were still a lot of circumstances where she felt really bad, and I still think that there's some tweaks that she needs. So I would say my opinion of her softened, but didn't change. Softened, but didn't change. I appreciate, maybe it's the recent stuff with like the support changes and the Roadhog changes, and I'm like, oh, remember back when the summer rework wasn't actually all that bad. But you know, there's a lot of good things to say about the summer rework. While there was, so we took the good with the bad. It was overall an improvement for sure. But yeah. What is your favorite drink? I do not drink alcohol. No. Drunk Spilo would be, honestly, this is Drunk Spilo. Drunk Spilo is constantly on, constantly engaged, constantly charismatic, cute, funny, just a great guy to be around. Would I ever take in performance enhancing drugs? I will not answer that question. No, I wouldn't take performance enhancing drugs. I'm too much of a health nut. I'd feel like I have like this what's the opposite of what is it? The sugar pill effect. Placebo. I'd have the opposite of a placebo effect. I'd take like a performance enhancing drug and I'd just feel like my bones deteriorating, right? My favorite drink though. Oh gosh. It's a good question. I don't know what my favorite drink is. I really freaking like grapefruit juice. And I like orange juice. And I like the hybrids of like orange, pineapple, banana. I like pineapple coconut juice a lot. I'm a big juice guy. I don't drink it a lot because there's it's not the best way to eat your fruit. You know what I'm saying? But I do really like it. I'm like hot cocoa. Chat, what is it? I like smooth. Nah, smoothies are all right. I don't have smoothies too often. Beta doesn't even get waste every day because life is a soul sucking wasteland. Yes. What are your favorite? Where's mango on the tier list for me? Mango, in terms of a juice, is probably not my favorite, but mango is one of my favorite fruits. I am a PAD guy. That's true. Fidel Castro and Justin Trudeau. How weird. How are you so well acquainted with Fidel Castro and Justin Trudeau? Speak about talking about weird. Guys, what are your favorite drinks? What are your favorite drinks? Non-alcoholic. Because I feel like I'm forgetting something here. You guys ever had ginger beer? Non-alcoholic ginger beer? That's actually pretty good. Probably smoothies. Yeah, smoothies are good. Ginger lemonade or tea. Yeah. I drink a lot of tea, but it's not like my favorite thing to drink. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were to say like you could only drink one thing the rest of your life, tea is like I drink a lot of tea. I drink like 2 cups of tea per day. But it's like herbal tea stuff, But it's not like, oh, it tastes so good, It's fine. Kombucha, coffee, orange juice, ginger beer. Ah, okay, good to know, Schmitty. Yeah, I freaking love like there's frick. What was there's a specific type of ginger beer that was really good, sugar free. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Then they changed like the the recipe, and it wasn't quite as good. It was like really strong. It was actually really good. I went on a vacation to Holden Beach, North Carolina, South Carolina border with my family, like 2 years ago, and I like first tried the ginger beer there. Oh my days! Every time I drink a ginger beer, I think of that. Like the beach was super nice. We went shelling, drinking a ginger beer, throwing the frisbee on the beach, eating too much. It was amazing. I need to do that again. It's been a long time. I haven't been on a vacation in a long time, actually. I need to go on a vacation. Pepper needs a vacation. That's who needs a vacation. Like 2 years. Um. Yeah. Okay. What is my favorite literary period? Ooh, good question. I would say. Oh gosh, is there? I don't know the terminology. I would say late 19th century through early 20th century, like from like Conan Doyle to um Tolkien. You got freaking Jane Eyre. You've got Sherlock Holmes. You got Lord of the Rings. You've got Chronicles of Narnia. I guess those were a little bit later, but yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Turn of the century. You got H.G. Wells. A lot of good stuff written there. The Bronte sisters. Lots of good stuff. Winnie the Pooh. Not seriously, not even joking. Like Winnie the Pooh is freaking A. Milne. Like freaking amazing. So many good books written around that time. I don't know if that counts as a section, but that I would say that like a 70-year period. I would say is probably my favorite. I feel like there's probably more books I'm forgetting too. Yeah, I'd say that. That for sure. Yeah. I was reading Sherlock Holmes when I was like 9 years old. Not even joking. The Unabridged Conan Doyle. My dad got me hooked on him, and I was like, "Holy crap!" I was reading about the all these like brutal murders. I was like 9 years old. I've read every Sherlock Holmes story probably at least 7 times, maybe 8. Uh, every single one. I never learned how to read. Oh, that sucks, mate. Good luck to you, mate. I freaking love reading. What is my favorite and least favorite historical tragedy? Historical tragedy. Did I watch the Benedict Cumberbatch Holmes? Yeah, I watched it. It was okay. I'm more of a um shoot, what's his name? Patrick. Patrick. No, Jeremy. Sorry, Jeremy Brett. More of a Jeremy Brett fan. He's a little old, but he had the right demeanor and his delivery and the story thing was great. Historical tragedies. I don't know any. I don't know enough historical tragedies. I don't know. And I think this is good to focus per game when trying to improve. I would say generally one, unless you could do them in sequential order, in which case two is okay. Like if, for example, if you're focusing on thinking of positioning pre-fight and in CD usage mid-fight, that might be okay. It might be a lot, but it would be okay. USA and World Cup, that was pretty. Yeah, that was pretty tragic. Starting to stream is a historical tragedy. That's true. That's true. I think of all the good that come out of it. You got to be Kantian about it. You know what I'm saying? It's painful right now, but no problem, mate. I don't know if I have a favorite historical tragedy. When was Dickens, chat? When was Dickens? That was like early 19th century, right? Like 1830, 40, somewhere around, like mid to early. No? 50s? I swear he was like mid 19th century, early to mid. Right? Not a huge Dickens fan. I think he's too wordy, too florid with his vernacular, but I do enjoy Tale of Two Cities. I was just thinking about historical tragedies and like, the French Revolution and stuff. So I was like thinking of like, Sidney Carton and the gang. Tale of Two Cities, mid-19th. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. But I'm not a huge fan of Dickens. I think his most well-known stuff I enjoy. Like I do enjoy A Christmas Carol. I do enjoy Tale of Two Cities. But even some of his other things are just too slow. Not as interesting to me. For Doomfist, should you use the sensitivity you're comfortable with because of the insanement, or you should increase it? I would say most people should leave the sensitivity. Yeah. I would say most people should leave it. If you only have to stay in one room in a house for the rest of your life, I mean, isn't the only answer here bathroom? Like, otherwise that leaves some really serious questions to be asked. You kind of get what I'm saying? Did I already do the great role debate? I did. Actually, I should probably change the title. Yeah, we did that earlier. It was fun. It was a good discussion. Mid 19th century. Your mama's mid 19th century. You know what's great is if you can just take any sentence and just add your mama and then fill in the blank. See what you can come up with. Whoop. See what you can come up with. Is it on the tubes of you or will it? No, it will be. Well, yes, it will be on the Group Up podcast. I will not post it. But SVB will post it on Group Up, his YouTube channel, probably tomorrow. He's pretty quick with it usually, if I remember correctly. You used I do that way too much with your mama jokes? I used to do that way too much with your mama jokes, yeah. It's just a good safe insult. If I want to hurt your feelings and I don't want to think too much about it because you're not worth my time, your mama. I feel like that should go without saying. Every day that Matt wakes up is a historical tragedy, but you won't. Thank you for being polite. This Fidel Castro picture. I'll go into the best of Spilo. Tell us the truth. Your mama used to do that way too much. Keeping it classy. Oh, always. Keep it not only classy, but historical. Your mama was married to Justin Trudeau. Your mama is Justin Trudeau. Your mom, from Wikipedia, the Free Encyclopedia, was a French folklorist under the name Pierre Saint-Yves. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, chat. I'm going to peace out. I'm going to get some chill time. And I will chat with you guys later. I will be back on Saturday. We will have a coaching session, a replay review, and then we will get into the great Roadhog rework discussion, maybe some Arissa as well. Big project, ! Discord, that channel, Tank Rework Balanced. Be sure to check that out and throw your ideas in there. Yeah, loves and kisses. I'll chat with you all later. And I'll see you guys in 2 days. Spilo out.